Going down the path towards the beach where there's a white house and going through a gate and along by the side of the beach, you'll then see the little bridge to your right down on the sand. You carry on beyond that over the little headland, and that is where the Doon is located. The story of the Doon is related there, and then across the bridge that I mentioned onto the sands, that is where the story of the Fenians is located. When you arrive at the site of the Doon, first thing you see is the causeway with its large stones still in place, which suggests that this may have been some kind of tidal fortification. And on the islet itself, what you see is the base wall of a roughly cylindrical building, which would have had double walls. Now this is typical of dunes, which are to be found, for example, throughout the Western Isles and beyond in the Highlands and Islands. In the Western Isles there are about, say, 140. Sometimes they're called dunes. The word dune is a Gaelic word, usually associated with smaller sites, and then the word broch, which comes from Old Norse, tend to be associated with the larger structures among these groups, and sometimes the whole group is nowadays referred to as Atlantic roundhouses. Now we're talking about, let's say, roughly 2,000 years ago, or the Iron Age, and it makes you wonder whether these were built by local people, say local farmers who worked the land round here, or whether they were built by specialists, itinerant specialists who moved around and built these rather singular buildings. We're not sure really why they were built, or whether they were the homes of the better off families who could afford buildings like this, and maybe the other buildings around would have been made of turf and hadn't lasted, or whether they were in fact places of refuge for the whole community if there was any kind of attack. We don't know for sure how tall this one would have been, whether it would have more than one floor, whether it would have internal walls. The stone has lasted, but unfortunately the stone can't speak to tell us what it was for or who used it, what the people wore, what the people said to each other, what they believed in, what language they spoke, because Gaelic came with the Scots coming into Scotland later than this building would have been built. The silent stones just look at you and make you question what they were for.